Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Seneca County Commissioner meeting, September 22nd, 2022. We'll open with the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sure. Please join me in a short prayer this morning. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask for your assistance and your guidance as we discuss items that are important to those people who will put us in office. We ask in a special way that you look over all those who've been affected by COVID and who are recovering, all those who are lonely at this point in time. Please put your loving touch on them and allow them to feel part of the community. We ask in a special way, as always, that you protect those people who are protecting our freedoms and their families. We ask all this through your Son. Amen.
Amen. Roll call.
Commissioner Paradiso?
Here.
Commissioner Schupp?
Here.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Here.
Okay. Accept the motion to approve the digital audio recording of our previous board session on Thursday the 15th for our regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes.
Commissioner Schupp?
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso?
Yes. Okay, we're going to jump right into commissioner reports.
I'll be happy to start. We all three took part in the Heritage Parade, which was last Saturday. It was kind of weird seeing somebody else in the mayor's car, Your Honor. But we did follow them, and we had Congressman Latta with us, Senator Reineke, and a large group of elected officials. So it was a nice day. I think I counted, we gave out 1,000 pieces of candy between that group. So I must suggest next year maybe the Dental Association have it at the end of the Heritage Festival, because they're going to need it. A lot of Tootsie Rolls were in that bag. We did have an investment committee meeting a couple of days ago. You guys may talk about that, but the good news is the county is in significantly better shape this year than they were last year as it relates to the balances in the investment portfolio. And good news, bad news. Good news for the return is that the rates are up significantly. So that means there will be some significant interest income generated over this year and next year. That's good news for those of us who have some savings accounts. It's not so good for those trying to buy houses and do those kind of things. I do want to make note, and I think Tony attended this ceremony, I'll let him talk further, but that our Sheriff, Fred Stevens, was one of 31 Ohioans to win the Patriot Award that was presented by the TSA. As most of you know, Fred is our sheriff, and he also did a couple of tours of duty with the military, so we thank him for his service, and we're very proud that he was chosen as one of the Patriot Award winners in Ohio. That is my report.
Jimmy, are we going to do you want to add to that with the Patriot Award? I was not there, by the way.
It's a pretty big deal, yeah. So
thank you, but Jimmy might want to comment on
I
that.
worked with Sheriff Stevens' wife, actually, because the sheriff didn't want to make a big deal out of it. So I worked with Lisa, Sheriff Stevens' wife, and we got the information about that. So yeah, one of 31. I mean, it's a really big deal. It's for folks who have really stepped up post 9/11 to keep our community safe and keep our country safe. And I think Sheriff Stevens was nominated because he's served the city as the police chief. He served the county now as the sheriff, and also because of his time in Afghanistan and overseas, as a veteran. So I actually went over to his office and got to see the hardware. It's pretty sweet and really cool. He said he didn't know it was such a big deal, and then he went to Columbus. I think it was September 9th, and he was like, wow, yeah, I wish I had my family here for this. This is pretty cool. So if you see him, congratulate him. It's a big deal. I think it's a big deal for him and for Seneca County. So
Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah, busy week here. First off, just want to congratulate Seneca County Young Professionals on a very successful downtown pizza party that they had last week. We had our township trustee association meeting, so I could not attend, and devour all the pizza, but going through downtown at 5 o'clock, it was packed. Then going through downtown after our meeting at 8:30, it was still packed. So big congrats to those guys for putting on a successful event. This week we met out at the airport to go over some airport projects here as far as what they're working on. A lot going on out there. Regional planning tomorrow. We continue to have some of the facade meetings. We've got some letters in from some of the various villages, businesses, development groups. Pretty excited about that. So more to come on that next week as I go into a little further detail. Wanted to congratulate TJ Willys on their ribbon cutting here yesterday. And then successful Heritage Festival. And it was really encouraging talking to a lot of the people that came from out of town. There was also a few class reunions last weekend. It was just, it's nice to hear people that were from Tiffin, maybe haven't been back in 5, 10, 20 years, just to say, wow, I can't believe how far this place has come. A lot of changes. Look at all the cool things you guys are doing. So those kind of things really make you feel good when people come home every 5, 10 years and they notice the positive changes. So kudos to everybody for working together and getting some really cool things done. But it was very well noticed, and just want to pass that along. So that's all I have.
Yeah, and just on that topic, last Thursday night, I had a meeting out at Sentinel, and I was downtown, but I didn't stay as long as I wanted. But from the bridge all the way to St. Joe, I couldn't believe the people. The tents, the music, the kids, the strollers, the dogs. I mean, it really, Mayor, you could be pretty proud. It was a pretty cool thing. And then the parade, Commissioner, I'm going to add, he had 3 of his grandkids. And I brought one of mine, so we had 4 grandkids in the parade. We were out of candy by Marvin's there. We tell
Should have bought more candy.
They're just, yeah. But
Handfuls.
the parade was unbelievable, you know, so we started St. Joe, both sides, all the way down. The weather was great, so you're just really proud of everything that everybody's doing to make our community better. It's just good stuff. So compliments there. Really, the only thing I have on my report, if I'm going to bring up this Ice Miller contract right now instead of a new business. And Aaron's here if I need you. I'll call on you. But as a backdrop, the commissioners set aside money for a broadband study. And in the end, I think it was close to $81,000. Does that sound right, everybody? That we...
It was 89, but...
89, was it at 89?
I
So
thought
it's an $89,000 number that we took CARES money, and that was our contribution. And basically at that time, our thought process of what we felt we could do to support the initiative of tackling the broadband, the lack of broadband in our county. Some things have evolved through that period of time. TSEP, and I'm looking at Aaron Motz right now, was part of the beginning conversation, and basically under TSEP, this broadband task force that we reference in our meetings was formed. So actually Aaron oversees that, Adam, his group, the broadband task force. The study came out. We had a lot of kudos for us fronting the money for the study, but for the way the study was conducted. The work, the collaboration with the schools, the township trustees, the providers, a lot of people, a lot of work went into that. And I guess I didn't appreciate the work or didn't really understand or realize the outcome until this started to play out. Is that a fair statement, Aaron? And you know, Congressman Latta comes to the event. Senator Reineke, people all over, representatives from all over the state, and they're basically saying, we need more people to do this. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. People are working together, da da da. And so there needs to be some legal work so that the broadband task force, the commissioners, we can maybe take this to the next step. So Ice Miller, who represented us in this, and we hired for the study, we worked out an arrangement with them. By the way, last week, the announcement of Baskin Communications and North Central Electric partnering is just tremendous news for all of Seneca County. So you have the broadband task force with what they're trying to do, you have this going on, and we need a little bit of legal work and so the broadband task force, basically Aaron, has come to us and asked us, and I support this 100%, for some additional seed money to keep this thing going. So I'm proposing, Derek's looked at this, it's not finalized, but we have to get it executed, but he likes it. This would be a $50,000 request that we set aside $50,000 to be used for legal work with Ice Miller law firm. And even Derek and Ellie talked to me. They have some questions about what's legal and broadband, and they would call and ask these kind of questions because these guys are experts. So I don't think we definitely didn't plan on it when we started. I'll say that. But I would say the fruits of our efforts and our dollars warrant this next step. And Aaron, this is a big deal, and I don't want to take 50,000 lightly. It would be CARES money, but you want to add anything to that process?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's necessary because none of us locally have the knowledge on how to write an RFP for broadband or the legalities around a lot of this utility work. It's kind of a new frontier, really. And to expect anyone locally to have a true understanding on how this writes, it's kind of the old adage, you spend 50,000 now, you're probably going to save 150,000 later in whoopses that you could have potentially avoided had you involved Ice Miller from the beginning, because they are the leading experts in the state with this. So I think it's the right call, Commissioner, if the county is serious about going forward with broadband expansion.
But again, when we talk about collaborative
Yeah.
efforts, but last Thursday, I didn't mention that we did have a township trustees meeting out of Central.
Oh, yeah.
And that meeting, I didn't hear anyone object. That all the townships, it appears, are in full agreement that we need to move forward. Bill, I don't know if you were there, did you hear anybody?
No, everybody is excited and ready to go forward, so.
That's a
Yeah.
very good point.
And in fact, I think the townships are taking part of their money, I don't know how much,
Yeah.
and contributing as well. So again, it's an effort, a private sector effort with economic development, with the county and with the townships, and that's always a good thing. And the school systems are certainly excited about the possibility. I thank Tony and Tyler for their hard work on this. There's a lot of material to read, but when you navigate something that's new, you do need advice, and you want to make sure that it's right.
And I will add this, and then please, this is really important, so I'm glad we're having this discussion. But I know TCEP is working hard on looking at housing out in rural America, right? And I know you're working on that. And by the way, I went to Eden Township meeting Monday, and I didn't see it there. So usually somebody from TCEP's at a township meeting, or the sheriff is, but that was Monday night. And if we can get broadband out there, if broadband runs in front of your house in rural America, your property values go up by 3%. And that's a big deal, really. And so there's a lot of other things that are going to come out of this. But so I guess comments from your end.
Yeah,
Comment?
I think we need to keep our foot on the gas for this. We're kind of leading the way in the state as far as this goes. We have to have a good plan. We have to work the plan, but I think I'd like to see us be in the front of the line as far as getting some of these grant monies through the state, through the federal. I think we got the right pieces and the right people in the right places. As far as your motion goes or your idea, I mean, I'm in favor of it here as long as it legally makes sense, and let's keep pressing forward.
So I think, I'll look at you, Jamie. I think I'm sensing a consensus to move forward with this, to have Derek get the contract and everything put together.
We're waiting for some additional language to be added to that Ice Miller
And we
language.
get everything, and once Derek approves it, then we can take formal action, but,
Well, it's not.
We're
it's
gonna
not
move
a-
forward, right?
It's not a
Allocate
small
the money.
matter that there is, that the state of Ohio through the federal government has significant dollars
no,
available to do this, and not many counties, if any, are as far advanced with this as we are. This is another example, hopefully, of the attitude that we have with state government and federal government, and that is to be proactive. What we have done in the past is kind of waited to see what the programs look like, and then went in and asked for the scraps, if you will, at the end of the day. You know, by using Mike Ditto and his group, understanding exactly what's out there in the future, as opposed to reacting, we are able to be proactive. And this is another example that we will be at the front of the line when it comes to that large amount of grant money that'll be out there. This is millions of dollars to have this happen. And most of the money will come either from the state or from the Fed. At this point, we're just putting ourselves in a position to be able to intelligently apply for those funds and have a much higher probability of receiving the funds.
that's a fair statement. Okay, so that's all I have on the commissioner reports. I think that wraps the three of us up. 10:17, we have a ditch hearing at 10:30, so we'll go into county administrator report.
Okay, I have a few things for you guys today. I'm not sure if you received the email, but CCAO is inviting the commissioners, the administrators, and clerks to a dinner at the Garrison on October 5th in Fremont at 6 o'clock. So they would like an RSVP by the 30th. So if that's something you guys are interested in, let me know and I can get back with them for that.
I think we should go. Hey, Mike, would the CCAO be able to help us as far as maybe getting some other legislators to consider EMS an essential service? Like, is that something they can kind of help put a little pressure on?
Yeah, that would be, I mean, we're pressing for it from a local standpoint, and I know the
Bring that up
EMS
tonight.
group is, but yeah.
That's a good point.
We certainly, it certainly wouldn't hurt for them to put a little pressure on.
Okay?
Okay, and then, obviously you received the CCAO Winter Conference. It's just a save the date right now, but that's December 7th through the 9th. So we'll go ahead and just let me know and we'll go ahead and get the reservations made if you guys plan on spending the night, or when you guys plan on attending. So more information coming on that, but
You're going down for a
I
couple
am.
of nights, okay?
Yep.
Good. It's a good thing, guys.
Jimmy, you spoke, Commissioner Kirchner spoke, Commissioner Thomas has spoke.
Yeah.
We're just observers, I think, this year.
I would see my invitation to Bill, if you
Yes.
have an interest in that,
I'll send that to you.
certainly welcome
Yeah,
to do
that's
that.
probably good.
It's a great networking opportunity, and
Next year, after we get this broadband put together, we'll be speaking down there to the commissioners about our successes with broadband.
Like you do,
Yeah, I
like
mean,
you do the talking?
yeah, if you guys recall, we have been the last couple of years on two panels. One of them was on the Board of Elections. The
You
other
were on
one was
3
on the,
panels.
yeah, was on the wind, the turbine thing, so.
And Shane and Jimmy went down. That was the first one I went to.
Yeah, that was like your first
And
year, I think.
We basically, there are many, many, many counties that would love to have a person and a job for a Jimmy and don't have that kind of person. So Commissioner Thomas went down, room was packed, Jimmy was there and explained what he does and the reasons why we do it, and it was pretty impressive, really. Which again, I didn't realize actually the value, that was a really good eye-opening experience, so, yeah. Good point, we'll bring that up, essential service. We'll get back to you on those 2 dates.
Perfect. The next thing I have is last Friday, I met with John Logston and Allison and Sheriff. You guys currently allow, I think this came from maybe a sheriff's decision previous, hunting on the county's property out on State Route 100. We have recently had multiple applications, more than normal, requesting like 7 to 9 people on top of the applicant come and hunt the property. And we think it's a safety hazard at this point. And so there's a father and son who previously they've been hunting the property for about 15 years. We think that with the amount of applications that we're getting and the amount of people that are going out together out there, it's becoming a safety hazard for everyone. So we would like to move forward with no hunting on that property any longer. However, we would like to allow that father and son to continue to hunt this year. They would have the only allowance on this property. We'd send a letter out to everyone moving forward. We think it's becoming a liability issue out there with the amount of people that are hunting at one time. The property's not that big,
You
so.
said 9 at one time?
We do have an application that had 9 plus the applicant's name on it, so it's, we threw out a lot of different avenues that day, but we think, to be fair to everyone, we think that moving forward with not allowing the hunting is probably our best bet, to be fair to everyone.
Well, we have to my thing is you have to take care of safety, but, you know, maybe, so you made, I support that for this year. But maybe it's just a maybe, we could do a lottery or something.
We talked
I was
about
just- I
that.
was just
We
thinking
discussed
that.
that,
You know,
that day.
you gotta
Our
have your
concern
name
is
in by a certain day.
yeah, absolutely.
If that's too complicated, then I support you and the sheriff.
Yeah, we did talk about the lottery. We
Um,
think because of the people, how they're filling out the applications and putting on that they're taking 9 people out there,
Yeah.
there's no way to really control that, saying
That's
you're
what
only
we're
allowed
doing.
2. They're getting just so many people out there at one time, and
That's too many at once. Can you
It
do a
is.
lottery of maybe 2 people or that's too many.
ultimately
think?
your guys'
I'm good.
decision,
Well,
but we did.
I mean, I always try to turn things into positives, right? So, you know, maybe, I like the idea of a lottery, but maybe we make it a youth lottery. And maybe we do it on youth hunting days and sponsor it,
Something
you
like
know,
that.
the dome or something. So possibly we could turn it into something that's positive as opposed to saying no. And I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do things.
Absolutely.
I like that
This would-
mindset.
Get with the sheriff, and you guys can.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there is a youth hunting period. I don't remember when it is, if it's prior to, yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Maybe if you work with Soil and Water, because they have the handicap hunt out there, maybe kind of the guidelines that they use, might
Yeah.
be something that you guys
I
have.
see.
Maybe we could, maybe we could allow people that don't normally have access to hunting,
Right.
have it,
Have it.
whether that be
County
handicapped or
residents.
kids or whatever. And,
We have quite a few applications right now that are pending with those large amount of people listed on it. Is this something that we can work through this year? But for this
Yeah,
hunting season,
right.
maybe allow the father and son to go out there since they've been hunting that property for so long, and then work out the lottery system.
Yeah,
with
Can we
that.
table this for now? I'm gonna kind of think on it.
Yep, that'd work.
no is a real easy response.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're okay.
I think,
Okay,
you know,
so for
I think
this
they
year,
talked about the
because we're already
development that could
in-
possibly happen out there, so just to
We
be
did
ahead
what
of the
you said,
game
going
instead
forward,
of
we got the
behind.
Got it.
You think
Is
it's
this
something else?
Can we discuss it the next meeting? I want to think on that one.
Yeah.
And we don't decide till October, correct?
Yeah, I think, I think it's September, they have some dates in there at the end of September is the beginning
Yeah,
of.
I think it's probably too late to make any big changes this year. We ought to just go with what the suggestion is from the sheriff and then
I mean, we've got so many applicants.
take a
There's
deep,
nothing-
yeah, take a deep breath.
We'd like to
Because we-
respond to the applicants that we do have,
Yeah.
at least for now, so, but
Okay.
yeah, we can talk about that.
Okay.
The next thing I have is the Ohio Department of Transportation, ODOT, will be developing the 2024 through 2027 statewide transportation improvement program. That's Ohio's 4-year transportation planning document, so they invited everyone to, it is a virtual meeting October 18th, so if that's something.
Just want to make sure that Ditto's aware of that.
Okay.
And that hopefully we can get
Yeah.
Click and Reineke on the phone for that meeting.
Okay.
What time is it? At 80?
It is Tuesday, October 18th at 1 PM.
So I talked to Engineer Zimmerman, and he's on that committee. He's one of the guys that kind of put that together.
Okay.
He says he thinks it would be good if we did what Mike said.
So that's for Ottawa, Sandusky, and Seneca
Yeah,
counties, so.
and Engineer Zimmerman's one of the
So
main guys.
District 2, is that District 2?
Um,
Or It's just the
Pardon,
Brandon,
Just random.
Brandon, 3 counties.
Yep.
That's ours, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I will definitely be on there.
Remember, we have 9% of the roads and bridges and 4% of the money.
Before you leave, we're gonna get you a plaque.
Yeah.
Put that up
It says that.
and hang it. We're gonna change that.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but once a month I get a email on all the different ODOT projects of the month, and
Yeah, we have a certain, yeah.
You don't see
Ours
Seneca
hasn't
County.
changed. We haven't got a new one in a long time.
I'm sure you guys get the same email I do.
And one more thing that I have is the building code department. Obviously, that's been a topic of conversation. I do have a response back from Teresa from Sandusky County in regards to if plumbing is something that you guys wanted to include in that. They sent over a draft resolution. However, in that, they have left a spot open that they would like to include rent in that. So that's a conversation I'd like to have with Teresa to see why they would be charging rent when they would be receiving all the monies
that
for everybody we
discussion,
sent.
Okay, so we talked about the possibility of calling them directly
Okay.
and working out a deal. Is it Safeway?
Safe Built is the
Safe
company
Built.
they
You know,
utilize.
to talk about that, we ought to at least try to have that conversation to make sure we're all on the same page. And the second thing I think we ought to do, gentlemen, is issue an invite to the Seneca County Builders Association for at least one session to talk about permitting. As it turns out, I had a conversation last night with one of the major builders, and over the last 4 weeks, for whatever reason, things seem to be moving better than they have been, but it runs in cycles for them. The big complaint was they actually had a building completed before they got the approval to do it. It was 6 months. So I do think that we need to input it from as many builders as we can possibly get, because I'm getting some mixed messages. I don't know about you guys.
I am too,
You know, they're doing okay, they're
You're
doing
not.
better.
But
This has been, over the 8 years, it's been the way it is. And then we call them in, and they straighten out for a while, and then stuff happens again. So if we're gonna make the move, we ought to at least give the builders, we're hearing from, from guys that have a lot of projects on a regular basis, but I don't know about the rest of the subcontractors and et cetera. I mean, they may come in here and say everything's great, or they may come in and say, yeah, we really need to change. So I'd like to at least invite them in for an informational meeting.
Okay.
And I'd like to then talk directly with the company to talk about,
The Safe Built?
is there a better deal?
Are you talking about having the Safe Built people come to a meeting?
Yes.
As well as the home builders or some of the contractors?
Yes. I don't
Didn't they
object to
come to our
partnering with
meeting?
Sandusky County.
I don't think
But-
we had them on a Zoom call, that's what
But,
it was.
our purpose is to do what's best for Seneca County, right?
Absolutely.
So let's see what we can work out with them, and let's see what the builders.
Is there
have to
anything
say.
in there you can do? Can you call any of them? Just trying to,
The builders?
Safe Built, you wanna call them?
Oh, sure, I've
Yeah.
been having conversations with.
And then
with
talk
the young
about
lady.
that rent, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm
Since
happy
you're on
to
it,
do it.
I
Sure.
think that would be
I
good.
think
so
the
we
rent
keep
is a
things moving.
is a Sandusky County thing. That doesn't come from Safe
Right,
Built. So
right.
that's just additional money that they would like for you guys to pay to utilize the Safe Built services under them.
I mean, my first reaction is we'll supply a space if that's what they need, but I know
For
what they're
Safe
talking.
Built, yeah.
Safe Built.
Give you a Tiffin satellite office or Seneca County office.
I think we talked, that is what we talked about.
Okay.
So.
If they're hiring another person, that other person needs an office, we'll give them one.
Yeah,
But we don't
so
wanna pay.
talk to Safe Built directly, continue to negotiate with Sandusky County, and schedule a Seneca County Home Builder Association meeting. And anybody that maybe not even is a member of that, but that's the vehicle that we can invite people through. Let's let them publicly know that any contractor or subcontractor that would like to attend, set a
That's
date
fair.
into the future, a couple of weeks,
Bring it to an end.
so that they know what's going on, and maybe do it at the end of our meeting, or
Publicize that, yeah.
do a work session with them.
Perfect.
I really feel for the contractors and these people trying to build homes. I mean, when your projects get installed by 3, 6, 9 months, that's time, money. They're already having supply chain issues. Anything we can do to kind of speed up the process and do a more thorough, better job, I think we need to kind of help our contractors so they can be out there putting up these spec buildings, putting up these houses. I think it's something we definitely need to dive into.
Is the county getting a piece of these fees?
You probably would not, because I think the
I
fee,
think we're
when
bringing
you have
it
a
to a head.
contractor go to
Bring it
Richland
to-
County, they keep all the fees that the contractors are paying. So I would think that you would do the same if you were to go as.
Well, what happened, one of the dirty little secrets with all this is that many of the subs, and obviously without naming names, and some of the generals just do stuff that should be permitted, but they don't even apply for a permit.
Right.
Because the process is so long and so laborious that they just do the deal.
And I think with Safe Belt, how they do is you offer the space, they come in, they bring their own personnel, they hire their own inspectors for, whatever they need. And then they will take, if it's out of 100%, they'll take, depending how many services they offer, they'll take 97% of that, and then the county gets back 3 is how, I don't know what the percentage is, but I know if they bring in all their personnel, it's a lot higher than supplying a county employee for that position.
Well, with our new executive at Economic Development, there's gonna be so many housing projects we're gonna have to follow. So we better get out of stick here.
That's
And
all.
I know with Richland County too, I want to say they're up to maybe 3 inspectors right now trying to cover 5 or 6 counties. So you got one person basically trying to cover 2 counties. I heard through the grapevine that Ken's close to retirement. So I mean, he's the one that's been there the longest.
Well, anecdotally, I talked to one of the contractors who'd been waiting 6 weeks for a permit. So he drove over there to talk to him on a Friday. The staff is maybe 10 people over there, 8 people. There was one person in the office, stacked up permits, and they're all off to, Browns games or Ohio State games or wherever. So they're taking Friday off, they got all this work and nobody's there. Now, I understand people need time off.
Yeah.
It's frustrating to go.
Yeah. If, in speaking with Sandusky County, are you guys interested in including plumbing with this?
We go through Erie County right now.
Yeah,
I don't know about plumbing.
Okay.
Sure.
Quick question, are we talking commercial or are we in the residential
Commercial.
stuff? Just commercial?
It's all commercial.
Because that's what I heard, houses and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
we're
Because
talking
that's a
commercial.
different caveat that I think that.
They only do commercial over at Sandusky County.
Well,
Well, and
and
that's what I know that Commissioner Zimmerman was kind of trying to, it was almost political
Yeah.
suicide,
was.
trying to get the residential.
Right.
Problem that we.
Just commercial.
That's.
well, it's a bit messed up too, because if you're in a village, you gotta go to the state. If you're in an incorporated village, so, they don't even go to Massfield there, they have to go to the state of Ohio.
They had stated we would have to do an agreement with the cities, villages, and Seneca County, because they're unincorporated areas,
Yeah.
to be included into this. So it
Yeah,
would
that's
be
the next step.
individual.
Then you have to get all of them to agree to do it.
Right.
And we know how that goes.
So-
Just talking commercial and not
Yeah,
residential.
Yeah,
and maybe,
commercial
but
only.
maybe with the Village Association, we should bring in as many decision makers as we can from the incorporated
Okay.
towns,
Yep.
so they understand what page things are on too.
Okay,
Perfect.
it's 10:33. Anything else?
No, that's all I have. Thank
Are
you.
you okay? So now
Yeah.
we're ready for a bid opening.
Yep.
And sign-in sheet.
And I only have one.
Section 25 of Hopewell Township farmland.
Yes. Section 25. One bid from Greg Smith with Smith Farms is offering a cash rent bid of $125 per acre for the 7.51 acres of farmland in Hopewell Township of Seneca County in the southwest quarter section of 25. That's the only one we got.
Small section, Bill.
Yeah, that's, couldn't hardly turn around in it, so that's, yeah. If
Yeah.
it was, put a 0 behind it, it'd be worth another $100 an acre on top of that, but
Yes, some people got gardens bigger than that.
You're right, exactly.
So this, on this one, just for kind of, maybe for all of us, but if that was a paving project, we'd give it to the engineer. But if it's a farm, we decide right here.
Okay.
Is that how we do it? That's the
I was
question.
to say that.
Who do
you
we
still
send
have
that to?
Soil and water.
Yeah.
That's it, okay, so I knew there was a question here.
We usually just communicate with her to see if it's in a reasonable.
Actually, I'd probably go, maybe, not to change, but actually, Extension would have more details of soil and water on that, because they actually have rental, what the state is and all that on that, so you might want to support it with,
Well, our policy's been to go to soil and water.
Yeah, I don't know that's policy, that's who we incorporate to make sure that it's a reasonable, but we usually have multiple
You could go to
offers.
both.
So we have them look at, like, some people will do by the amount of crop, or there's different things that can play. I mean,
Size,
with this, I feel like
soil.
and
it's,
that's what, at the end of the day, for 7 acres, I
as
mean,
long as, yeah, as long as it's
be
a
grateful
reasonable
that you guys
price.
somebody to
we'll
farm
just-
7 acres.
Maybe
and stuff
turn
like
it into
that.
sweet corn and pumpkins and everybody go out and pick it when they want.
Right, yeah.
County community garden.
I'm in for that.
Okay, so that's our bid opening. Kim, are you ready to come up? We can move you ahead. Thanks for patiently waiting. So next, we're gonna talk about the county health insurance. The renewal is in. Kind of how we handle all that is gonna be discussed. Kim Bond's our representative handling things, so welcome. Glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. I apologize for not being able to come last week. It's a pleasure to be here, Commissioner Kirschner, Commissioner Paradiso, and Commissioner Shaw. Jamie, good to see you. And I brought Lori Huth from our office here. She's an integral part of the Seneca County team. I came in today because we had a meeting with the Health Insurance Committee on September 7th. And the fund account balance as of 8/31 in the health insurance fund was $325,085. We're seeing about an average additional going into that fund of about $9,700 each month. It's anticipated that fund account balance at the end of the year, December 31, will be about $364,000. In the past, the county commissioners have tried to keep at least a minimum of $200,000 in that fund starting the first of the year. It's recommended at this point in time that we look to keep about $250,000 in that fund. The reason being the volatility of the healthcare claims right now, inflation, just like everything else, is being impacted. SEPCO provided the increase, and we do have an increase this year. SEPCO average increase for 42 counties was 6.9%. 8 counties received the maximum 13% increase on health insurance. Seneca County was one of those counties that got 13% increase. Believe me, in the industry, that is not outside the norm right now. Unfortunately, it is not. I'm going to give you some statistics on why that increase occurred. It stands on claims, utilization, high dollar claims. When SEPCO rated the county, the experience period was July 1st of 2021 through June 30th, 2022. During that period, the loss ratio, which means premium versus claims for the county, was 153.7%. So SEPCO paid over $1,300,000 in claims for the county, over and above the premium that the county paid to SEPCO. When we looked at that again in a different light from January 22 through June 2022, the loss ratio for this year for the first 6 months was 173%. So with that said, that's why there's volatility, there's a lot of things happening right now. My recommendation to the committee was to go in with a 12% rate increase because we do have a little bit of float in the health insurance fund. The health insurance wanted to be very fair for the employees, knowing that inflation and everything is happening in the world today and their costs outside of the county is as well increasing. The way we ended up recommending, my recommendation to you, the commissioners, is that the employees have a contribution increase of only 3%. They have not had an increase in their contribution since 2018, and that will generate about $16,000 additional in premium. For the 12% increase overall, it's about $327,806. So I'm recommending the county increase of 11%. What we will do with that balance of the increase is take that out of the current health insurance account fund. 49,000 of that will be the employee portion, 24,000 will be the commissioner portion. And if that recommendation is accepted, by the end of next year, we would anticipate about 290,000 in the health insurance fund. Now, I will say there is also, because you have a high deductible health plan with an HSA attached, the federal government regulates what that deductible can be. Effective January 1, that increase will go from $2,800 to $3,000. And that's federally mandated to be able to keep the health savings account as part of it. You still have an awesome plan, because after that $3,000 deductible is met, it's 100% with the exception of the prescription drug goes to copays. That's a very rich plan in the marketplace today. All of the Guardian premiums, dental, vision, basic life, AD&D are staying the same.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand the numbers. We're gonna have, at the end of the year, predicted a $364,000 carryover, or thereabouts,
The end of this year.
end of this year. And of that, we're taking $75,000 to
Correct.
subsidize the increase.
Correct,
The county's increase will be 11%,
correct.
and the employee's increase will be 3%.
That is correct.
Okay.
And that employee percent, to put it into perspective, if they pay $50 per pay now for single, it'll only be $52 per pay.
They all, I mean, that's good, I'm in full agreement with that. I just think that there needs to be fair warning out there that the carryover is not going to continue at the
Yeah.
level that it has. And that if claims continue the way they are, there could be a significant increase next year that would be unavoidable, because there wouldn't be any money actually to subsidize things. So
That is correct.
we pray that that doesn't happen. However, we're at the point now that this is the worst in 8 years, at least from my chair.
That is
That
correct.
the balance of the carryover has been, I mean, as everybody knows, we've been able to do a payment holiday, if you will, in the month of November and December over the last 3 or 4 years,
We were,
which is a great thing. And this year, obviously, we can't do that.
no.
And, in the near future, it may be significant increases because you can't absorb it forever. So, just for the warning.
That is exactly correct, and that's why we felt an increase, a small increase this year for the employees, because we're headed in the direction of an increase next year as well.
So you might want to comment too, just for the public, what our average increase over the last 4 years has been.
The average increase with SEPCO over the last 4 years, counting the 13%, has only been 3.5%. That's
That's
excellent.
been pretty good. It just caught us, we've been flat.
Could this be an anomaly this year, or is it expected to continue in that direction trend-wise?
Trend-wise, a lot of it's based on claims. Right now, county has high utilization, large claims. You had 18 people over 25,000 in claims. You had 5 individuals totaling about 800,000 in claims, and all of those 18 are anticipated to be ongoing.
Okay.
And last year, for the experience period, there was only 2 months, because we tracked the loss ratio by month, there was only 2 months under 100%. So I would anticipate probably 1 more year. Part of it's claims utilization, part of it, as we all know, is inflation, because hospitals are charging more, they're having to pay more for their employees, keep staff. It's a trickle effect. So I would anticipate, hopefully not as high next year, but because of the increase this year, it should offset that with SEPCO. But I would anticipate another increase next year.
I think the committee would like the commissioners to take action on this, but also the HSA conversation. You gonna talk about that?
Also,
Please highlight it.
it was requested, the HSA contribution, the county has always put in money into the employees' accounts. And you need to talk about if that's going to continue this year or if it will be adjusted.
So last year, and it was a little awkward for you and Lori and Ashley, we did not make the HSA decision until we finalized the budget. But I would like to propose that we commit and then make that part of the budget.
Is it 750 a thousand?
750.
Yeah, 1,500.
It would be $750.
1,500.
So each individual has a $3,000 deductible. And the county would put in $750 into their HSA account, and for a family, it would be $1,500.
1,500.
If we wanted to go to 800, 1,600, I lost it, but it's like $19,000 more. So
We did, I think there were 3 different variations that we can send out for that.
so we could keep it at 750, 1,500. And then they can move forward with renewal, communication with employees and everything that you need to do. And so I think we should do that at minimum, but I'm also gonna throw out, upping at $50 for the individual, and then it would be $100 for the family, right?
Yeah.
So we'll go to 800 to 1,600. We were,
And part of that too, the employees have additional
Neutral in
deductibles to
that.
satisfy.
The recommendation also included, and Mike said it, but just to make clear that it does not include a premium holiday for 2023.
It would not include a
So
premium
he did mention,
holiday.
right, so just so that it's on the table.
So-
We don't have to make the HSA decision today, but we would like, we're looking for the approval for the rate acceptance for the 3% for the employees, but
I just want to make one more HSA comment. So in the committee, we talked, we all know this is for all the employees listening. You know, the number one thing for employees is what is my paycheck, right? How much do I make? Then it's, and of course, all your benefits, holidays and that. And then it's, how much do I pay for my health insurance? You know, what's coming out of my pocket? We thought a lot about that, and the county's gonna go up 11%, but the employees are gonna go up 3%. So if you pay $50 a pay, you're gonna pay $52 a pay, or maybe less than that. So that's 52. Then the HSA is part of the, and we wanna be prudent with the money, but we wanna provide good benefits for our people. And so that's just kind of that piece. But I think in order, it would be pay what you're paying. So I think we attacked what the employees are paying with this decision pretty well, given the environment we're in. It's a 3% increase to the employees.
When do we have to make a final decision about this?
we have a resolution today for it, and it does not include the
For the health, we can do
It-
HSA later.
Right, it does not include the HSA, it's just the 3% increase for the employees
So I'll
and then the
table the
no
HSA.
holiday.
I'm good with
Okay.
tabling the HSA.
The only crack in the HSA, I'll make sure we cover, is that there are some people on Social Security that can't get the HSA.
Correct.
Yes.
And we had agreed.
And I think previously we had.
Had agreed that
worked
we would contribute that somewhat before.
Continue that, yeah.
I just want to make sure that we include that.
And
Absolutely.
most employees are on the plan. I believe directly with the county, it's 300. And how many employees do we have and how many on the plan? Rounded. It's pretty
Yeah.
high, right? Lori, it's like,
I think there were,
we won't hold
It's like
you.
about 250 maybe on the plan?
yeah, and I
Does
think
that
there were
sound right?
355 eligible.
How many?
355 eligible.
Okay, so it's more than I thought. So there's 350 eligible, 250 on the plan.
I believe so.
And so, you know, you could argue that I'm not on the plan, I want more money in my pay. You know, so, but we're all in this together, we gotta take care of the whole lot. So, okay, we'll table the HSA, so do we need, we'll take action on this,
Okay.
renewal, right, is that a fair statement? And our
Sign the resolution
our
and
resolutions, yeah.
Okay,
And I'd
so,
like to bring the HSA discussion up sooner than later so we can
Absolutely.
get this out of the way, so.
so you have a resolution as part of the.
Yep.
Yeah,
Is
you
I
good
always
with
have
that?
Yeah,
Yeah, so we're good, we'll take action. Any questions?
Lori will be doing
Laura?
the open enrollment presentation, so if we can have that HSA deposit to tell the employees in that open enrollment presentation, that would be great.
I would like to take action on that next week, and it's going to be, do we do it? Is it 750, 1,500, or is it 800?
Yeah.
Put together some calculation numbers
Yeah,
for
and
you.
if you could send that to us, we'll take action next week on it, and then we'll know.
Will do.
Is that okay with everybody?
Thank you very much. Thank you for allowing us to be part of the Seneca County team. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Good work. Okay, we're into new business.
We do an old business?
We are in old business. Thank you for reminding me. Old business. Thank you.
Mike had just, I wanted to bring up the airport paving. Mike had mentioned last week that he wanted to talk about it, so
Okay.
if you guys wanted to discuss
Now, this
that
is-
or.
Yeah, I mean, I have not verified whether or not that's reimbursable, so I'll take it off the table at this point, I'm not sure. If it is reimbursable, then I think that we ought to go forward. If it is not, then we shouldn't, so I'll verify that.
You good? Talk about that next week
Okay.
or whatever. Okay. Anything else, old business?
Well, the only other old business that I talked a bit about, and maybe you were gonna bring it up, I don't know, but, you know, we talked about all these appointments that we make. We really don't have a handle on it. We have another request from Crossway about the appointment. And without a lot of work, I don't know how you go through past meetings or understand.
We're working on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of busy work, and I wouldn't expect anybody to do it in a real hurry or anything, but we do need to have, you know, some type of a chart that shows what appointments we make, because I know what's happening out there is that boards are making their own appointments. I don't have any real problem with that, except that statutorily,
Yeah.
it should be the commissioner.
Yeah, because Crossway did reach out and has their facility governing board, and they're needing, Kenny Easton was our appointment for that, and they're needing a new appointment for that. So I did ask them for their bylaws and all that stuff, so I can send that to you guys. And as far as what their requirements are, they're trying to locate somebody for that. But I told them I would also get the information to you guys, so you may have a suggestion on somebody.
Pat, do you ever remember there being a list of those committees that we appoint?
It occurs to me that there, or I remember seeing a list of
Someplace in
them.
the archives or might
That
be
we had,
something.
yeah, that we, who we appointed to what and how many and,
Yeah.
and,
I
but it
think
should reside in the individual boards'
It should.
bylaws, obviously, but.
And it does, I think, it's just like, you know, GLCAP, we make those appointments, and Health Department, those kind of things, but we don't even think about it until somebody leaves, or
Exactly.
until GLCAP comes in and says we need an appointment.
And there's different rules for filling out a term or how
Exactly.
long the term is left and all of
Yeah.
those things. And it's never a problem until somebody challenges something with
this
it.
person.
Yeah, until
That's
there's,
even worse.
the problem is until there's a controversy, and then everybody wants on that board, right?
Well, and then there's, you know, somebody may challenge a decision made by a board that wasn't properly appointed
Yeah.
and so on and so forth, which is a
Yeah,
quagmire.
that's right.
I have one more item of old business we're trying to move. Bring up the sheriff's vehicles. I want to bring this up, so see if we can. So we have taken a position that electeds have budgets and they need to stay within their budgets. We all understand things come up, right? Sheriff was in. Vehicle was totaled, we approved a vehicle. There's actually two vehicles on the lot and
At Reineke.
at Reineke's, and the sheriff and Reineke's have worked out a situation where Reineke's will lease the vehicle to the county for no money, and I'm not sure we could do that, might have to be $1, something like that, until next year. And then next year, in the sheriff's budget, he can buy a car next year. So a couple issues, the car's on the lot, it's cheaper, and there's a long lead time to get cars, and so if we could work something out, and I'm asking you guys, we talked a little bit, but we're not in the weeds on it, we haven't had Derek come out, we haven't seen a lease, we haven't anything. But if we could enter into a lease and get us into next year, flip that lease to a purchase at today's rate, I'm not against that. So I'll just see what you guys think.
Yeah, I know, it's an odd situation.
It's kind of odd.
And we play pretty
Who
tough hardball
would
with
be
this thing, so.
supplying the equipment?
I was just gonna say, keep in mind the equipment cost afterwards.
I didn't
Still,
get
it's
that. I don't have that answer.
25,000 probably.
Yeah, I
close
don't
to
have
the-
any
I
answer.
don't think that's enough, but.
It used to be
might
around 15, I think the price has increased. We'll be able to have a better
I didn't say I
idea
was
once
for it.
this one goes through.
Oh, I know.
That concept I'm not against, but so I think we need to get all the total, get the whole thing.
We can
need
have
it in
an
writing
estimate for
so we can look at
the
it.
equipment. Yep.
Yeah, so we get it resolved, and in concept, I'm okay with it.
That's, I guess that's a better phrase. In concept, I'm okay with it, but we have to,
I want to see some more details, but I'm open to it.
yeah. You know, one of the issues coming up is that's okay with the truck, but now the sheriff needs $20,000 to make the truck outfitted. Where's that come from? Okay, so, you know, again, right, so that's all I have on that, more to come. I just wanted to bring it up and get it out there so we can talk. So, new business. You good? Oh, excuse me, by the way, we will go into executive session to talk personnel. We'll do that at the end of the meeting. We don't anticipate any action. Thank you. What am I gonna do when you're gone? Bill, you're gonna have to. I'm surrounded by people who can
I'm the
help.
old guy, I'm not supposed to.
Yeah, thank you. So, Aaron just laughs, he's been around me enough, so, okay, thanks, go ahead.
As far as sub apps, we have 2 for the ditch maintenance fund. The first one is for supplies for 6,000, and the other is the ditch maintenance assessment, and that is like the joint county assessments. So it was $11,349.31. We have the foreclosure special projects fund, 1168. They are doing a sub app for $368.17 into their software license and services line. It's foreclosure for special projects for their software license services. Public assistance fund, they are needing additional money for client assistance payments, and that is $400,000 into their 2030 fund. And the general fund, and that is the contract service. That's the contract we did with GLCAP for the sheriff's grant. So that was $2,875 getting that money put in place. And then also the county capital projects fund for the airport into the R1215 fund. And that is for the runway lighting. That project, they're actually ready to move forward, and I think we're gonna be starting on October 3rd. So that is $364,115.22. And resolutions. I have a resolution, we talked about this last week. I brought it up about authorizing someone at the School of Opportunity to sign the change orders. So authorizing Lou Hurst, superintendent for the School of Opportunity, to sign all change orders for the parking lot project. I didn't do that general, I did it just for this project that they have going on currently. A resolution accepting the plan design and establishing Seneca County's premium contribution and health insurance rates for calendar year 2023. Resolution to designate the official representative and alternate for the purpose of voting at the annual meeting of the County Commissioners Association of Ohio in 2022. And resolution authorizing the county administrator or fiscal officer to sign purchase orders and appropriation adjustments for the Seneca County Commissioner's Office.
I think that was up to, is there a dollar amount on that?
Yes, it's
Up
$25,000.
to $25,000. We
I
had,
didn't know that changed.
Okay. Well, we can add it, right? Can we
It's
add
not
it
the one I
now?
have.
okay, we can, I think that was a late discussion just with the issues that we had this week with purchase orders being kind of stuck and not going through, waiting for you guys to sign off on them. So if you're comfortable, that will help push a little bit more through.
Yeah.
Barb's been
I'm good.
great with reviewing all the financials, and she thinks she's comfortable. Just alleviates a little bit from your guys' plate and helps the flow a little bit better, but we can make that adjustment.
We're just adding the cap to that.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the new business, the supplemental appropriations and resolutions as presented.
I'll second.
We have a first and second with that change, right? That's implied. Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes.
Commissioner Schuff?
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso?
Yes.
Just one little addition, I had a discussion with Barb about the audit, state audit, and the number of court orders that we have. And I would be open to, and I think maybe the commission would be open to, any procedures that we could put in place that might decrease the necessity for court orders that are outside of the current budget. I'm not sure what those actions might be, but some of them are extremely small. But the number of them continues to be a repeat, I don't want to say violation, but a repeat concern of state auditors. Most counties have a handful, we always have 50 or 60 or some big
Yeah,
number.
more than that, actually.
So,
We play and the auditor plays every year.
if there is anything that we can do by action to reduce the number of those court order
Think about it.
amounts, we ought to put that in place. There must be something, because others are.
Anything on that before we go to public comment?
Good on mine.
Anybody else before public comment? Jimmy, we'll open it up to the floor. That's okay. Anybody present? You're welcome to come up and speak. You guys good? Mr. Brightball, do you ever come up and speak? You did once, yeah. Every once in a while. Well, you have seniority. We'll carry the microphone back to you. You can speak right from there.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
In 8 years, I think Tom has been to more meetings than I have.
It's just great having you here. Jimmy, anything? Don, you good? Everybody?
Yep.
Okay, public comment?
One thing is, I was
Yeah.
talking to Mike Ditto. He had to jump off. He had another commitment, but he did say that he's happy to reach out to CCAO just for review for you guys. A month ago, roughly, I was working with Ken at the time. We sent over like 3 legislative priorities, including making EMS an essential service. There's also a thing about Medicaid, Medicare reimbursement. I think I may have sent it to you guys, but I'll send it again. But anyway, he's going to reach out to CCAO to make sure they're aware of our legislative priorities on that. Other than
The other
that,
thing that we need to advocate for,
yeah,
that the judges are brought up more often than not, Damon in his campaign, and I've talked to the other 2 judges, is that right now, the court has ruled that judges cannot take into consideration community violence, potential community violence, when they just consider the amount of bail. And that's something that they've always been able to do up until now. So that's a strong lobby that we need to make with the Attorney General, with the legislature, to make certain that, if the judge fears for the community because you have a violent offender, that they can use that in consideration of keeping them incarcerated or releasing them bail.
I like that. Yeah, something we can work on.
And so, Jimmy, we're feeling good that this is going to get introduced, this
I
essential
think
status.
Representative Click's office has kind
But you've
of
worked a lot with them,
indicated
too,
to
right? Ben
Mike
and-
Ditto and myself that, one thing we're kind of trying to work on is more specific language that maybe they can introduce. As you know, they're not in session right now. and
Yeah.
It's still a little while till they'll be back in session. But I think Representative Click's office has shown a lot of support for trying to push forward with something like that. It's not something that would cost the state money, most likely. It's kind of more just opening us up to federal grant programs, things like that, by making it an essential service. So, yeah, it's something that we're working on a weekly basis. I know Mike Ditto is locked in on it. So that'll be coming up. Do you want me to do the public comment announcement? Anyone joining us on Zoom right now that wants to speak, you can unmute your line and come forward now. There's nothing in the chat other than what Mike had said about he will pass that on, because he's been corresponding directly with Representative Click's office. I don't think we've really talked to CCAO a lot, so he's going to do that and keep us updated.
more pressure or influence, more people, whether it's the Township Trustees Association or CCAO, just
Absolutely.
voicing our concerns to our state officials.
For sure.
So it's 11:05. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel.
I will we move to executive session for reasons to discuss, main reasons to discuss personnel.
I will second that motion.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Yes.
Commissioner Schuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradisi.
Yes. Again, we'll come back to adjourn the meeting, so you're welcome to stay. Okay, it's 11:30, and we're back from executive session. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, or come back out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes.
Commissioner Shaw?
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso?
Yes, no action was taken, so the meeting's over. Next meeting.